Hello and welcome to our new tutorial about creating a React Native crypto wallet. In this part, we are going to create our first API. We are going to talk about the library that we use to fetch the API, how we manage the token, and everything else that needed. So let's get started. First of all, let's see the utils file that I have added here. As you see, I have added 3 functions. First one is token valid, checks if the token is still valid. If it's valid, it will return true. If not, it will return false. The second function is for shortening the wallet ID, because wallet IDs in Ethereum normally are very long, and if we want to show it on the screen of a mobile phone, it will not be nice, so we just shorten it with a simple logic here. And at the end, we are going to add the information into clipboard with this function. So we use it with the copy button. So if the user want to copy the wallet ID to the clipboard, it's easy for them. Inside the types, I have added a get wallet response type. This is the type that we return from our API that we created in the last video. Inside our store, I changed the auto slice to accommodate the token. So we can set the token or get the token inside our auto slice. We will use it in the authentication service. So let's see what we are going to do in our services. This is the logic that we are going to do to return the token. As you see here, I have a function called get current authenticated user token. It will first check the state and see if we save the token inside our store. If there is a token and it's valid, then we will just use the token. But if the token is not valid or there is no token, we call the API get token. Let's go to it. Get token will return the token from Amplify API. As you see, we return raw token, and raw token is the JW token that we need. At the end, we just set the token inside our store, so next time we can use it if it's valid. Now I want to talk about the fetching mechanism, and let's see how we implement that. For fetching, we are using the native fetch in React Native. As you see here, first we fetch the token, then we try to fetch the URL. And as you see here, like we do in Postman, we put the token inside authorization barrier. And the rest is just simple. If there is an error, we show error. If there is no error, we get the response. But there is a hook that I created here, use authenticated fetch. Inside use authenticated fetch, we are going to use a library called SWR. Actually, we can use fetch itself without using SWR, but SWR have a lot of functionality that we can use later For example, it has caching the API by default and some other functionalities that we might use later, and it just makes the life easier when you want to use REST API. You use something like SWR or React Query. How SWR works, it gives you some hooks that makes connecting to the APIs easier. For example, here we are using the hook use SWR. It gives us a lot of parameters. We just need data, error, and mutate. And as you check here, we have revalidate unmount false. It means we don't want it by default call the API first. We want to call mutate and it will call the API for us. So let's see how we are going to use this function. As you see, I have used this hook here and I get the parameters here. So inside the use effect, we create a refetch function and we set the spinner to true and start calling the API with mutate. If the data is available, it means the API returns us a valid response. Then we try to parse the response and set the valid ID inside our state. If not, we handle the error. But let's see where we use this valid ID. If we come down, as you see here, this is the part that we are showing the valid ID to the user, and this is the copy button that copies the valid ID to clipboard. So this was how we are going to connect to our API and call it. If you have any questions or comments, you can put it inside the comment section. See you in the next videos.